Most people are waiting for confidence. They tell themselves that once they feel ready, once they feel sure, once they feel capable, then they will finally take action. They believe confidence is the starting point, that it comes first and action follows. But that belief is the reason so many people stay stuck. Confidence does not come before action. Action creates confidence. And until you understand this, progress will always feel just out of reach. Think about how many times you've delayed something important, not because you didn't want it, but because you didn't feel confident enough. You told yourself you needed more preparation, more knowledge, more certainty, more time. But time passed anyway, and confidence never showed up. Because confidence doesn't arrive on its own. Confidence is built from evidence. Evidence is built from action. You don't become confident by thinking. You become confident by surviving action, by doing something uncomfortable and realizing you didn't break, by taking a step and discovering you're still standing. That's why action beats confidence every single time. The mind is a convincing liar when you're inactive. It tells you stories about what might go wrong. It magnifies risk. It exaggerates consequences. It convinces you that waiting is safer than moving. But the moment you act, those stories lose power. Reality replaces imagination. And reality is usually far less terrifying than what your mind creates. This is why people often say, I was scared, but once I started, it wasn't as bad as I thought. That's not luck. That's how the brain works. The brain fears the unknown. Action turns the unknown into something concrete, something manageable, something you can respond to. Before action, everything feels heavy. After action, things become clearer. This is where most people get trapped. They believe confidence is a requirement, that confident people act and unconfident people wait. But the truth is the opposite. People who act become confident. People who wait stay uncertain. Waiting feels productive because it feels responsible. It feels like preparation. But most waiting is avoidance in disguise. You're not preparing, you're protecting yourself from discomfort. And the cost of that protection is growth. Confidence is not a personality trait, it's a byproduct of movement. Every confident person you admire was once unsure. Every capable person once felt unqualified. Every successful person once doubted themselves. The difference is not that they felt confident. The difference is that they acted anyway. They didn't wait for fear to disappear. They moved with fear present. That's a crucial distinction. Fear does not go away before action. It fades after repeated exposure. The first step is always the hardest because it's the first time your brain is facing uncertainty. The second step is slightly easier, the third even more so. Over time, what once felt terrifying becomes familiar, and familiarity creates confidence. Confidence is simply the brain saying, I've been here before and I survived. You can't think your way to that feeling. You have to earn it through action. This is why affirmations alone don't work. You can repeat positive statements all day, but if your actions don't change, your brain won't believe you. The mind trusts behavior more than words. Action is proof, and proof is what builds self-belief. Another reason action beats confidence is because confidence fluctuates. Some days you feel capable, other days you don't. If your progress depends on how you feel, it will always be inconsistent. Action doesn't care about your mood. Action doesn't wait for certainty. Action creates momentum regardless of emotion. Momentum is powerful. Once you start moving, the energy changes. Resistance weakens. Focus improves. The task feels less overwhelming. You gain clarity simply by doing. Most clarity comes after starting, not before. People often say they're confused about what to do, but confusion is often the result of inactivity. When you're not acting, your mind fills the space with noise. When you act, feedback appears, and feedback creates direction. You don't need to know everything before you begin. You need to begin to learn. This applies to every area of life. You don't become confident speaking by waiting until you feel ready. You become confident by speaking and realizing you can handle it. You don't become confident starting a project by planning forever. You become confident by starting and adjusting. Action teaches what thinking cannot. This is why overthinking and lack of confidence often go together. The more you think without acting, the more reasons you find to hesitate. Thoughts multiply, doubts compound, fear grows stronger. Action interrupts that cycle. The moment you act, the mind shifts from imagination to problem solving. Instead of asking what if, it asks what now. That shift is liberating. This is also why people feel relief after finally starting something they've been avoiding. The weight they carried wasn't the work, it was the anticipation. Anticipation is heavier than action. Confidence doesn't remove fear. Action makes fear manageable. Another hidden truth is that confidence often comes after failure, not success. When you fail and realize you're still okay, something powerful happens. The fear loses its grip. You stop seeing failure as a disaster and start seeing it as information. That's real confidence. Not believing you'll never fail, but knowing you can recover when you do. Waiting for confidence often means waiting for a guarantee of success, but guarantees don't exist, and chasing them keeps you stuck. Action accepts uncertainty. Confidence grows from tolerance of uncertainty. This is why people who take risks grow faster. Not because they're reckless, but because they build emotional resilience. Each action, each attempt, each setback strengthens their ability. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's familiarity with fear. And familiarity only comes through action. There's another reason action beats confidence, and it's uncomfortable to admit. Confidence can be an excuse. People say, "I'm not confident enough," when what they really mean is, "I'm afraid of being judged," or "I'm afraid of failing publicly," or "I'm afraid of discovering I'm not as capable as I hope." By framing the problem as lack of confidence, they avoid confronting the real fear. Action forces honesty. When you act, you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop hiding behind reasons. You face reality as it is. And while that's uncomfortable at first, it's also empowering, because reality is something you can work with. Fear is not. Action gives you something solid to respond to. It turns vague anxiety into specific challenges, and specific challenges are solvable. Confidence grows when you solve problems, not when you avoid them. This is why small actions matter so much. You don't need bold moves to build confidence. You need consistent movement. One small action taken repeatedly does more for confidence than one big leap taken once. Small actions lower the emotional barrier. They make starting less threatening. They create quick wins. And quick wins build belief. Your brain doesn't need dramatic success. It needs proof of capability. Every small action says I can begin. Every follow-through says I can continue. That's how confidence is built naturally. Not by hype, not by pressure, but by repetition. This is also why people who wait for confidence often feel worse over time. Each delay reinforces the belief that they can't act without feeling ready. Each avoidance strengthens the habit of hesitation. Inaction trains the brain to doubt itself. Action trains the brain to trust. This is a training process, and like any training, it starts uncomfortable. But the discomfort is temporary. The confidence is lasting. Once you internalize this, your relationship with fear changes. You stop trying to eliminate it. You stop waiting for it to disappear. You accept it as part of growth. Fear becomes a signal, not a stop sign. A signal that you're stepping into something meaningful. And instead of asking, "Do I feel confident enough?" you ask, "What's the smallest action I can take right now?" That question changes everything. It shifts your focus from emotion to execution, from self-evaluation to progress, from waiting to moving. Action doesn't require belief, it creates belief, and belief compounds. The more you act, the less confidence feels like a barrier. It becomes a result, something that follows you instead of blocking you. Eventually, you realize something surprising. The people who seem confident aren't fearless. They're practiced. They've practiced acting despite uncertainty. They've practiced showing up imperfectly. They've practiced recovering from mistakes. That practice is what you're missing when you wait. So stop waiting. Not because you feel brave, not because you feel ready, but because action itself is the path to confidence. You don't need to feel different to start. You need to start to feel different. That's the truth most people never act on. If you want to continue building this mindset and learn how to take action, even on your lowest energy days, watch the next video in this series. Each one is designed to help you move forward without waiting for confidence to appear. Subscribe to Daily Upgrade Motivation for daily mental upgrades that reshape how you think, act, and live. Watch the next video to continue your mental reset.